So now let's continue from where we left off. So let's see our first question for today. Two bodies of same mass are projected with same velocity at 30 degree and 60 degree respectively. The ratio of their horizontal ranges are. Okay? The ratio of their horizontal ranges are. Now there are two methods of doing this. The method one is of longer method or normal traditional method. Okay? So first I am doing by method one or traditional method. In traditional method, range was given by r is equals to u square sine 2 theta by g, or range is equals to u square sine 2 theta by g. Let me write this g properly. By g. Now for maximum range, okay, so sorry, there is no maximum range asking out here. Okay, they are asking the theta is 30 degree at first and 60 degree on the second projectile. Two projectile is thrown. The first projectile is thrown at angle 30 degrees and the second projectile is thrown at angle 60 degrees. Okay, so now range of first projectile or the projectile which was thrown with 30 degrees is equals to u square sine 2 theta becomes sine 2 into 30, sine 2 theta becomes sine 2 into 30, or 2 into 30 is nothing but sine 60 by g. Okay. Similarly, range of second projectile means that was thrown with 60 degree angle, okay, with same velocity u. See, the velocity is not changing, with same velocity. Okay, so range of 2 is u square sine 2 into 60, or 2 into 60 is 120 by g. Okay, now I have to compare r1 and r2. Okay, or r1 by r2 will give us the ratio r1 is to r2 is equals to, let's divide these two equation. Let's divide this r1 divided by r2. Okay, so r1 is u square sine 60 by g divided by u square sine 120 by g. Okay. This u square and this u square gets cancelled, this g and this g cancels, so our r1 by r2 comes as sine 60 by sine 120. Now, okay, we already know that sine 120 can be written as r1 by r2 is equals to sine 60 by sine 120 can be written as sine 180 minus 60. Okay, and sine 180 minus 60 is nothing but sine 60. I taught you all in trigonometric functions. Okay, whenever the sign is even, sine stays as sine. Okay, or r1 by r2 is equals to sine 60 by sine 60, or r1 by r2 is equals to sine 60 by sine 60, which becomes 1 by 1, or r1 is to r2 is equals to 1. Okay, now let's do method number 2. This one was the first method where we found out the range using the traditional formula. r1 is equals to u square sine 60 by g sine 2 theta by g, and r2 is equals to u square sine 2 into 60 by g. Now for our method 2, which is usually a shortcut. Shortcut means for your competitive edge. Okay, whenever the angles are in complementary to 45 degree, then their ranges are equal. That means 30 degree can be written as 45 minus 15 and 60 degree can be written as 45 plus 15. That means these two angles, or 30 and 60 degrees, are complementary with 45 degrees. That means 45 minus 15 will be 30 degrees and 45 plus 15 will be 60 degrees. That means in previous examples I have solved that whenever angles are complementary with 45 degrees, they have same ranges. So we'll have same ranges. I even derived this. We'll have same range. But remember, time of flight and maximum height will be different. Okay? Time of flight and maximum height will be different, but their ranges will be same if they are complementary with 45 degrees. Okay? So our correct option is option number A. Now let's look at next question. The maximum range of a gun on a horizontal terrain is 16 km. Okay? If G is equals to 10 meter per second square, then the muzzle velocity of shell must be. Muzzle velocity is nothing but the velocity at which the bullet or the shell leaves out of the gun barrel. Okay? So the question is saying the maximum range of a gun is 16 km or 16 kilometer. That means a shell or a bullet can travel 16 kilometer. Okay? And bullet is thrown. Okay. And value of acceleration due to gravity is 10 meter per second square. Okay? So for maximum range, what should be theta? What should be theta for maximum range? For maximum range, theta is equals to 45. It's always the case. For ground to ground projectile, for maximum range of projectile, theta is equals to 45 degree. Okay? Therefore, sine 2 theta or sine 2 into 45 is equals to sine 90, which is equals to 1. Okay? So for maximum, whenever maximum range is mentioned, that means they are thrown at 45 degree angle. So now we simply apply the formula for range. Range is equals to R is equals to U square sine 2 theta by G. Sine 2 theta becomes 1 for maximum range, because theta is equals to 45 and 2 theta is equals to 90 and sine 90 is equals to 1. Okay. R is equals to U square by G. So range is given as 16 kilometer and we have to convert that kilometer into meters. 16,000 meters is equals to U square by 10. Okay? Or 16 into 10 to the power 4 is equals to U square. Now if you underroot both side, we get U is equals to 400. So our correct option is option number C. Okay. Now, this next question is a little bit conceptual okay, and some of your solution books, they have given this. The answer is correct, but the solution or the concept they use is wrong. Okay, they have used the wrong concept to arrive at the correct solution. Okay, so I'll try to demonstrate what is happening out here. A bullet is fired from a gun with a speed of 1000 meter per second in order to hit a target 100 meter away. At what height above the target should the gun be aimed? Okay, the resistance of air is negligible. That means there is no horizontal component of acceleration, and g, vertical component of acceleration, is 10 meter per second square. So let's see what was happening out here. Suppose a gun, suppose there is a target 100 meter away. This is a bullseye. Okay, now I have a gun. If I point it at the target, and fire it, the bullet will go, but the gravity is also acting on this bullet. So the bullet will try to fall down. This effect is shown as exaggerated, means I am very much exaggerating the effect, but it will hit somewhere around here or beneath the bullseye, because the acceleration due to gravity pull down the bullet. Okay, so what we usually do is, in sniper movies you have seen that they usually aim up a little bit up than the bullseye, which is usually called zeroing in. They zero in the scope, and that's not necessary, that's not your military drill, but okay. So what they do is they aim the gun a little bit higher, okay, a little bit higher. So when the bullet reaches out here, the bullet is thrown a little bit upwards and it reaches at the bullseye. Okay, the bullet starts from here and reaches at the bullseye. So the aim should be little bit higher. Okay, now the question is asking, what is this height? What is the height from the target to the bullseye? Okay, to the bullseye. So we'll try to imagine this question. Okay. Now what else can we find out from here? We can find out this theta. Okay, if this gun is looking out here and firing, that means the angle the gun makes with the horizontal would be theta. Okay, and that means the velocity of projectile would be with angle of theta. Okay, and the velocity of projectile is given as 1000 meter per second. 1000 meter per second. The target is, that means the target is 100 meters away. 100 meters away. Okay, the target is 100 meters away. Now, what I am doing out here, let's find out the range. R is equals to u square sine 2 theta by g. Sir, why are you finding out range? See, this bullet acts as a projectile on reaching the bullseye. Okay, it is not traveling straight. Okay, so this bullet is acting as a projectile. So whenever it is acting as a projectile, I can apply the formula for a projectile. Okay, because I am applying this, because I need to find out this angle theta. Okay, this angle theta will help us to find out distance from head to head. Okay, so R is given as, range is given as 100 meter, u square or 1000 square sine 2 theta by g. G is nothing but 10. Okay, so can I write simply sine 2 theta is equals to 1 by 1000? See, solve this. 1 by 1000 is equals to sine 2 theta. Now our question gets a little bit interesting. Up till here it's clear. Okay, how I have arrived at this conclusion, sine 2 theta is equals to 1 by 1000. Okay, now make a note. Okay, it's a concept. The note is, for very small angles, okay, sine theta is equals to tan theta is equals to theta, and that angles are given in radius. Okay, for very small angles in radians, for very small angles in radians, that means you are measuring the angles in radians, not degrees. Okay, radians, there is a formula that is called sine theta or sine of any degree is equals to tan theta is equals to theta, and this theta is in radians. Okay. Now from our solution sine 2 theta was equals to 1 by 1000. Okay, or 2 theta, because sine theta is equals to theta, so I replace sine 2 theta by 2 theta is equals to 1 by 1000, or theta is equals to 1 divided by 2, 0.5 divided by 1000. Sir, why not 1 by 2000? We'll understand in a little bit, okay? Because it will be easier to compare, okay? Now let's construct a triangle, okay? From here we learn that theta is equals to 0.5 by 1000. Now you can also write this as tan theta, because sine theta is equals to tan theta is equals to theta. Okay, so now let's draw a triangle. Suppose this was theta. Okay, then this was 0.5 and this was 1000. Okay, now let's draw our projectile. Let's draw our projectile. This was the height at which we aimed. Out here was our bullseye. Okay, out here was our bullseye, and we have to find out this height h. Okay, so, and this distance from the gun to the bullseye is given as 100 meters. Okay, now these two, this and this triangle are similar. Okay, they are similar in nature. So can I write 0.5 by 1000 or tan theta of this is equals to tan theta of this triangle? Okay, so we can write tan theta of the left triangle is equals to tan theta of the right triangle is equals to tan theta of the left triangle is 0.5 by 1000, and tan theta of the right triangle is h by 100. Tan theta is nothing but perpendicular by base. Okay, or now using these two 0.5 by 1000 and h by 100, let's see, using these two 0.5 by 1000 is equals to h by 100. Okay, two zeros gets cut out, or h is equals to 0.5 by 10 meter. Now let's see the option. The option all are given in centimeters, so we have to convert our meter to centimeters. So how do we do that? Into 100, or 0.5 by 10 into 100 is equals to h, or h is equals to 5 centimeter. Okay, now some of you might have confusion, sir, how did you know that sine 2 theta had to be converted into 2 theta, then tan theta, then like this? That comes with practice and observation. I am repeatedly telling you, your approach of class 11, your approach for competitive exam should be on observation and practice. Okay, not on memorization and protocols. Whatever protocols are available, most of our teachers are giving. Okay, most of your teachers are giving, even I am giving, whatever protocols are available. But everything cannot be done by protocols. Okay, sometimes you have to apply some observation. So these types of observation comes by practice. The more you practice, the more you do it. Okay. Now, okay. Now we'll hear a little bit of story. The name of the story is Equation of a Projectile. Equation of a projectile. See, in your 34 years, no question came in NEET, okay, from equation of projectile. But that doesn't mean it is outside the syllabus. It's still inside the syllabus. So it's better you know the prospect, even if you don't treat it as important. Okay. So what happens in equation of a projectile is, there is a projectile. What? There is a projectile motion. The velocity v or u was thrown with angle theta. Now, whenever you wanted to find out some portion, or whenever you want to find the coordinate of y at this position, okay, we have to first find out time, then we have to find out y, or we have to find out the coordinate x. Whenever you have to find out the coordinate of position, first you have to find out the time. Without time, you could not move anything. So someone said, in this graph of projectile, or in this graph of projectile, I do not want to include the parameter of time. That means I want to only include the parameter of y and x. I want to say, so suppose I have a projectile this far away, or x is equal to this much distance from the starting point. What is the value of y? Find me the value of y. So to solve this kind of problems, equation of projectile was introduced. Okay. So how do we do that? Similarly, a projectile can be converted into horizontal component of u cos theta and a vertical component of u sin theta. Okay, and a vertical component of u sin theta. Okay, now using three equation of motion. What are those equation of motion when acceleration is constant? V is equals to u plus at, s is equals to ut plus half at square, and v square is equals to u square plus 2as. So let's find out y. Y is nothing but the coordinate of y axis, or coordinate of y, position of the particle in vertical direction, okay, from time t is equals to 0. Okay, so y is given by y is equals to ut minus half at square. A is nothing but acceleration due to gravity. Okay, and in horizontal direction, let's write the displacement as x. X is equals to ut plus half at square, but there is no acceleration in horizontal component, that's why x is equals to ut. Not ut, u cos theta t. Okay, u cos theta t. Okay, and out here u get converted to u sin theta t. So y is equals to u sin theta t, okay, minus half gt square. You understood what I am doing? Why I replaced the u by u sin theta? It was because u was actually the parameter of the main equations. Okay, out here I am considering this u. Out here I am considering this u. So whenever we use this u in this equation of projectile, we have to always component them into vertical component of u sin theta and horizontal component of u cos theta. So let's look at the horizontal component, or from the horizontal component we can deduce that x by u cos theta is equals to t, or time is equals to x by u cos theta. Okay, now the time between the vertical component and the horizontal component is synchronized. That means when the particle will be out here in the main projectile, or in the original projectile, the particle will be out here. That means in the horizontal component, the particle will be out here. Okay, so when they are synchronized, that means we can replace the time. We can substitute this time out here in this t and in this t. Okay, so let's substitute this equation, or t in this equation, by x by u cos theta. Okay, I am substituting this t out here and out here. Okay, so y is equals to u sin theta into t. T is nothing but x by u cos theta. X by u cos theta. Okay, into t minus half g t square. Sorry, t should be replaced by x by u cos theta. X by u cos theta square. Don't take too much stress out here. Okay, this never came in your NEET curriculum. Okay, so just treat it like a story. Okay, just imagine I'm telling you a story. So out here u and u gets cancelled, or y is equals to x tan theta. Okay, there is no parameter of t. X tan theta minus half g x square by u square cos square theta. Okay, this is our equation. Now this is very cumbersome to remember. Okay, so the easier method to remember is y is equals to x tan theta, okay, 1 minus x by r. What is r out here? R is nothing but range. Okay, I think this part is not visible, that's why I'll be writing it little bit in next page. Okay, the correct way to remember is, or the easier way to remember is, y is equals to x tan theta 1 minus x by r. 1 minus x by r, where r is nothing but the range of projectile. Range of projectile is u square sine 2 theta by g. Okay, this is a much more easier formula to remember. Okay, because you have to already remember time of flight, range and height. Okay, now let's hear another story of elevated projectile. Elevated projectile also didn't came much, but just see it. Okay, elevated projectiles. There are one question I think that came in elevated projectile. Okay, so till now I was doing ground to ground projectile. Ground to ground projectile means the particle was thrown from the ground and reached to the ground. But now I'll do a person standing on top of a building is throwing a stone with some velocity v, with making an angle theta with the horizontal. Okay, let's draw a diagram carefully. A person standing on a rooftop is throwing a stone with velocity u, making an angle theta with the horizontal. So this projectile would reach out here, somewhere out here. Out here the formula for T, R and H would not work. Okay, out here the formula for T, R and H would not work. So there are many such cases. Okay, then there is a ramp. Okay, there is a ramp making an angle theta, and a projectile is thrown u with the velocity u, making an angle phi with the horizontal, or making an angle, some angle with the ramp, and you have to find out the angle with the horizontal. Okay, the reason I won't be solving for this type of question is I'll be giving you them in your examples. I'll be giving this question in the examples. Okay, and the best way to learn the concept is through example. Okay, so just learn the trick that I am going to use in the examples. Okay, the best way to solve this, the best way to solve these questions, the best way to solve these questions is to divide it into horizontal and vertical component. question is to divide it into horizontal and vertical components Okay, that means what? That means we have to divide it into x component and y component and apply these three formulas in each of the component and apply. Can you guess the formulas? These formulas in each of the component. The formulas are V is equals to U plus AT. Okay, S or displacement, this is not distance. Okay, UT plus half AT square, and V square is equals to U square plus 2AS. Okay, so tell me, if the coordinate is assumed out here, in this case, if the coordinate is assumed out here, what is the displacement? Displacement is minus h. Okay, and gravity or acceleration due to gravity or A is minus g out here. Out here, what is the displacement? The ball is going up and falling like this. So it traveled h up. So suppose we assume the coordinate out here, okay, origin out here. What is the displacement out here? Displacement is positive h. Okay, and acceleration due to gravity is negative h. Always construct a coordinate system while solving problems. The right hand side is positive, upward is positive, left hand side is negative, and down is negative. Okay, you can construct your own coordinate, but it has to be consistent for the problem. Okay. Okay, so let's proceed to the, let's start a question. Okay, two bullets fired horizontally and simultaneously towards each other from rooftops of two buildings 100 meter apart of the same height of 200 meter with same velocity of 25 meter per second. When and where will the two bullets collide? Okay, so let's check what's happening out here. 60% of your question is decoding the question. That means understanding the question. The rest 35% of the question is remembering the formula or concept that you have to apply in the question. And the remaining 5% is not performing silly error. Okay. That is how you solve a question in your main examination. 60% of your question is, 60% of the time you won't be able to understand the question. Okay, so 60% of your time you must focus on decoding the question. 35 is remembering the question, and rest 5% not performing any silly mistakes. Don't waste 60% of your time in understanding a single question. Just go through the entire paper and do it like that. Okay, so two towers of same height, okay, they are 100 meter apart. 100 meter apart. Okay, and the tower height are 200 meter. Tower height is 200 meter. Okay. Now, a person on the left and a person on the right throws a ball with same velocity, and the ball collides. they are asking when and where will the two ball collides. Okay, so let's forget the vertical component of velocity. Okay, let's forget the vertical component of velocity. Let's only focus on the horizontal component of velocity. Okay, there is no horizontal component of acceleration. Okay, so two balls separated by 100 meters. Okay, separated by 100 meters, thrown at equal velocity, whatever that velocity may be. Out here that velocity is given as 25 meter per second. By common sense, up till now you can easily deduce that they will collide at a midpoint because their velocities are same. So this is 50 meters. Okay, now time taken to collide. Time taken to collide is distance by speed, or time taken to collide is distance is 50 meters divided by 25 meter per second, or time is equals to 2 seconds. So in 2 seconds the ball will collide, okay, out here. But for now just imagine the ball is colliding somewhere out here. Now whenever 2D motion is occurring, what did I say you? Always divide them into vertical and horizontal component. So now we solve for horizontal component. How the vertical component look like? For the vertical component of balls, the balls will be dropped with initial velocity of 0. Okay, u is equals to 0 on the left and u is equals to 0 on the right. Okay, so after they travel for 2 seconds, after these two balls travel for 2 seconds, they'll collide. Okay, so let's make them travel for 2 seconds, or s is equals to ut. U initial is 0, so 0t plus half g. G is nothing but 10. T square is nothing but 2 square, because at time t is equals to 2 seconds the balls will collide. Remember, in 2D motion, while you are divided into vertical and horizontal component, the time parameter will always be synchronized. Okay, that means in 2 seconds the balls will collide. Okay, so why have we taken g as positive? Okay, out here I have assumed down to be positive, up to be negative, okay, and right to be whatever, negative or positive, whatever you can say, left to be positive, and you can redo these concepts and your answer will be same. Okay, s is equals to half into 10 or 5 into 4. 2 square is 4, or is equals to 20 meter. So in that 2 seconds the ball will travel downward with 20 meters. Okay, the ball travels downward 20 meters. Okay, let's do. In that 2 seconds the ball travels downward 20 meters, and the height of the building was given as 200 meters. So let's check the option. After 2 seconds, so 2 seconds is correct. Okay, 2 seconds is correct at a height of 180 meter and a height of 20 meters. So out here silly mistakes can be occurred. This height is calculated from the ground. Okay, this height is always calculated from the ground. Okay, height, the term height is always calculated from the ground. That means if this is 20 meters, the remaining height is 180 meters. That means our correct option is option number A. Okay, now write a note. Whenever the vertical component of velocity of two different projectiles are same, that means the vertical separation between them will remain same. What do I mean by that? Whenever the vertical component of velocity of velocity of two projectiles, of two or more projectiles, of two projectiles. I didn't mention of two or more projectiles are same. Okay, the vertical separation between them will remain same. The vertical separation between them will remain same. This means what? What I am trying to say with this? That means suppose a projectile is thrown, okay, with some angle with u and theta. Another projectile is thrown with v and phi. If u sin theta, is equals to v sin theta, that means the vertical component, that means when the projectile will be out here, the same vertical component of this projectile or the right projectile would be out here, okay, if they are thrown at the same time. Okay, the vertical component of both the projectile will be at same position, same vertical position, okay, if their vertical velocities are same. So it is very apparent. Why are you showing us this? So this will become more apparent when two projectiles are thrown and you have to hit them together. Okay, that means I am shooting one thing, I have thrown one thing and I am shooting the other thing. Okay, our relative vertical acceleration would be, our relative vertical acceleration would be 0, because we will understand this concept more predominantly by a problem. Okay, so now let's do the concept of relative motion. Okay, concept of relative motion. Now, suppose you are at your window, not at your window, you are at a roadside, okay, sitting on the grass, and you are seeing two cars, car A and car B. Okay, the velocity of this is car A and this is car B. You are at the roadside. Okay, the car A is moving with velocity VA and car B is moving with velocity VB. Okay, now suddenly by magic, okay, you became a magician and suddenly by magic you shifted yourself to car A. You shifted yourself to car A. Okay. Now what would be the velocity of car B with respect to your eyes? That means how are you looking at the velocity of, what would be the velocity of car B with respect to you? Okay. So whenever you are shifting the frame of reference, the most easiest trick is just out here VB. Okay, whenever you are shifting the frame of reference, the most easiest trick is just reverse the velocity of the frame and apply it to all other remaining bodies. The velocity of frame is nothing but the container holding the observer. Okay, frame of reference is nothing but the container holding the observer. Okay, first container holding the observer was the grass. Okay, the velocity of grass was 0. Okay, so no need. Now whenever you magically shifted to car A, the velocity of car A was VA. But since you have shifted to car A, what you have to do is you have to reverse the velocity of car A and apply it to all other remaining bodies. That means car B would be moving with VB minus VA. Ground would be moving with VA, velocity in the opposite direction. Okay, this velocity of card B with respect to card A is sometimes represented as VBA, or velocity of B with respect to A. VBA, velocity of B with respect to A, which is given by VB vector minus VA vector. Okay, write down the trick. Write down the trick. Okay. Just reverse the direction of velocity to all other remaining bodies. Just reverse the direction of velocity, the direction of velocities to all other remaining bodies, all other remaining bodies. Okay, that means out here the body was VB, we applied the velocity in opposite direction to VB, so body B, and to ground in opposite direction. Okay, so velocity of B as looked by a person in card A is given by VBA, or velocity of B with respect to velocity of A, which is equals to velocity vector of B minus velocity vector of A. Okay. Now we'll learn another concept of unit vector. So why are you teaching us vector now? See, vector, calculus, these are very large chapters. Okay, so I'm teaching you on a need to know basis. Okay, whenever a concept comes up, I'll give you the concept and then I'll try to solve the problem. Okay, if you start with vectors or if you start with calculus, you can take entire life, still you won't be able to finish your calculus. Okay, it's such a big chapters. These are such big chapters. Okay, that's why you're learning on need to know basis. So concept of unit vectors. Concept of unit vectors. Okay, unit vectors are vectors with magnitude of 1. But what do I mean by that? Unit vectors are vectors of magnitude 1. Magnitude 1. What do I mean by that? That means they are used to represent direction. They are only, or they are specifically used to represent direction. Okay, suppose someone asks me, okay, travel 5 meters. I'll say I'll travel 5 meters, but in which direction? Now in order to say in x direction, he might say travel 5y. That means I'll travel 5 in I direction, or travel 5 in j direction. Okay, 5 in j direction, or 5 in y axis. Okay, now suppose a vector is given, I want to travel this much in this direction. So how should I say him? This is neither in x-axis. This vector is neither in x-axis nor in y-axis. So what do? We find out the unit vector, okay, for the convenience of direction. So when you multiply this magnitude or this whole magnitude with this unit vector, we get the direction in which you have to travel. Okay, so how do we do that? Suppose this one is vector, some vector. Okay, vector say f, or v vector, or x vector, position vector from origin. So how do you calculate the unit vector or unit magnitude along this direction? How do we calculate? This is 1 meter. Okay, how do you calculate this? This is nothing but unit vector. That means a unit magnitude of vector in this direction is given by, unit vector is represented by x cap, okay, x cap is equals to x vector divided by magnitude of vector, x vector divided by magnitude of vector. So from here we get the direction, from here we get the magnitude. Out the magnitude out here cuts out the magnitude out here and we get 1. So 1 cap is nothing but unit vector in this direction. Okay. So how is it helpful? We'll see in the next question. Okay. Now suppose velocity is given as v vector, okay, or depended by xi plus yj. What is xi? V cos theta I or v sin theta j plus v sin theta j. So how do we find out v vector or unit vector of v in this line? How do we find out the unit vector of v in this line? So unit vector of v in this line is found out by v vector or xi plus yj divided by magnitude of v. Magnitude of v is root over x square plus y square. So these are best understood if we do some problems. So let's do some problems. Okay. Now this is a conceptual problem. Okay. This problem treat it as theory. Okay. Treat this problem as a theory of its own. Two particles A and B move with constant velocity v1 and v2. At the initial movement, their position vectors are r1 and r2 respectively. The conditions of particle A and B for their collision is, okay, so vector v1 and v2 of two particles are given, their position vector r1 and r2 of two particles are given. So make a note, this is a theory. Treat this question as a theory. Two bodies will collide only when the direction of the relative velocity and relative position will be in the same direction. That means two bodies will collide. Two bodies will collide only when the direction of their relative velocity vector, their relative velocity vector and relative position vector, relative position vector, relative velocity vector and relative position vector are in the same direction, are in the same direction. That means what? Unit vector of relative velocity vector and unit vector of position vector will be same because their magnitude are same. So what is velocity vector, relative velocity vector given as? Velocity vector or relative velocity vector or velocity of 2 with respect to 1 is given as velocity of 2 minus velocity of 1. Okay, or this can be written as, and relative velocity vector, okay, of 2 with respect to 1 can be written as, relative position vector, not velocity vector. Relative position of 2 with respect to 1 can be given as r2 minus r1. Okay, this you all medical student won't be studying much, but those who are taking up technical studies, means IIT JEE, and this question came in AIPMT, okay, but those who are taking up IIT JEE in mechatronics and robotics, this type of transformation will come again and again. Okay, means velocity vector you all know now, but position vector will bother you a lot. Okay, so for now, relative position vector or relative position of 2 with respect to 1 is given as r2 minus r1. So what is velocity? Unit velocity vector of 2 with respect to 1, or I need to find the direction of this velocity vector, no? So how to find out the direction of this velocity vector? We take a unit vector out here, or unit vector is equals to v2 minus v1 vector by magnitude of v2 minus v1, and the direction of relative position is given by r cap, or r cap is equals to r2 vector minus r1 vector by r2 minus r1. Okay, now these two are equal, or v2 minus v1 vector by magnitude of v2 minus v1 is equals to r2 minus r1 by r2 minus 1. So our correct option is option A. Okay, a body, let's simplify what I told you. A body will only collide when the relative velocity and relative position are coplanar, that means are in the same line, or the unit vector of relative velocity and the unit vector of relative position are same, then only they will collide, otherwise they can collide. Suppose this relative velocity is running out here, okay, relative velocity is running out here instead of this, can they collide? No, they'll just pass away. So in order for them to collide, the position vector, the direction of position vector and the direction of velocity vector has to be same. Okay, but you might say, what if they go in opposite direction? Then they'll become minus, no? Then VR would be minus of xr cap. If they are going in opposite direction, VR cap would be minus of xr cap, or xr cap would be minus of VR cap. Okay, understood? This is a little difficult to understand. I'm telling you, just remember this. Okay, two bodies will collide only when the direction of the relative velocity vector and relative position vectors are in the same direction. Okay. Okay. Now, a car starts from rest, accelerates at 5 meters per second square. At t is equals to 4 seconds, a ball is dropped out of a window by a person sitting in the car. What is the velocity and acceleration of the ball at t is equals to 6 seconds? Acha, okay. So this is a 2D motion. A car. Acha, okay. I'm drawing a square car. Okay. A car. Initial velocity is 0, because how? It is starting from rest, and acceleration is equals to 5 meters per second square. So after 4 seconds, out here time is equals to 0. I started the stopwatch out here. So after 4 seconds, okay, a person throws a ball or drops a ball. Person on top of a car drops a ball. Okay, he's throwing out of the window. But to give you a better clarification of concept, I am throwing it outside the roof of the car. Okay, so after 4 seconds, as he was traveling with the acceleration of 5 meters per second square, what is the new velocity after 4 seconds? We can apply v is equals to u plus at, or if you apply v is equals to u plus at, u out here is 0 because it started from rest, plus acceleration out here is 5, and t time is 4 seconds. So velocity out here is 20. Velocity out here is 20 meters per second, or 20 meters per second. Okay, these are not giving you a good feel, but these are necessary. Okay, sometimes you have to, more than the feeling, you have to get the concept. Okay, marks are more important than your feelings. Okay. So I'm drawing this diagram. Out here again. Okay, so I can easily solve you 1 plus 1 is equals to 2 and go home and say good feel. That good feel is worthless. So now he drops the ball. he drops the ball. So initial vertical component of velocity is equals to 0. Out here at t is equals to 4 seconds, he drops the ball. Okay, he drops the ball. So I'm not drawing the car, I'm deleting the car and just drawing the ball. He drops the ball. So whenever a ball is dropped from any vehicle or any container, okay, the ball or the object that is thrown out gets the velocity of the container but doesn't get the acceleration of the container. Okay, whenever a ball or object is thrown out of a container, the ball or object that is thrown out gets the velocity of the container but doesn't get the acceleration of the container. Okay, that means the vertical component of the velocity was 0 for container also, for ball also, because it was dropped. Okay, and vertical component of acceleration is g, which is equals to 10 meter per second square, because gravity is acting. Now the horizontal component of velocity was equals to 20 meter per second square, and the horizontal component of acceleration is equals to 0, because the ball does not receive the acceleration of the car. Okay, ball is already thrown out, so it receives no interaction with the car, and acceleration is a consequence of force. Okay, so whenever a ball or object is thrown out of a container, the ball or object takes the velocity of the container but doesn't take the acceleration of the container. Okay, so acceleration in horizontal direction is equals to 0. Now let's solve vertical component and horizontal component separately. Okay, vertical component represented by v. U is equals to 0, and the question is saying at t is equals to 6 seconds. That means after 2 seconds after throwing the ball, at time t is equals to 0, I started the stopwatch. At t is equals to 4 seconds, he threw the ball, and at t is equals to 6 seconds, they are asking what is the velocity of the ball. That means 2 seconds after throwing the ball. Okay, so 2 seconds after throwing the ball, I can apply v is equals to u plus at in vertical component. Or what is v? V is the final velocity. Initial velocity in vertical component was equals to 0 because the ball is dropped. Okay, plus acceleration is minus 10. Why? Because I took this component. You can take plus 10 also, it doesn't make a difference. Okay, just take plus 10, meaning down I took positive, up I took negative, right I took positive, and left I took negative. But make sure you make that consistent throughout the problem. Okay, so instead of negative I am taking as positive. A is 10 and t is 2. So velocity is nothing but 20 meter per second, or vertical component of velocity is 20 meter per second. Now let's find out the horizontal component. Let's find out horizontal component of velocity. We apply the same formula, v is equals to u plus at. In horizontal component, we have to find out the final velocity. Initial velocity at horizontal component was equals to 2, and there was no acceleration in horizontal component. Therefore 20 plus 0, or v is equals to 20 meter per second. Now this is a problem of vector. So the car is so the ball after 6 seconds is traveling 20 meter per second down and 20 meter per second down and 20 meter per second to the right. Okay, this is his final velocity of the ball. What is the total velocity? That means you have to add these two. You can add these two directly, or you can shift them and add, or just because I have practiced so much, I can easily say this is 20 root 2. If you want to see how, 20 square plus 20 square, okay, gives you 20 into 20. This should be, by now you should at least make this much amount of practice, okay, or 2 into 20 square, okay, or this gives us 20 root 2. Okay. So our correct option is option 20 root 2 with acceleration 0. Our correct option is option number C. Okay. Now, few keywords and that I am giving you. Few keywords. Few keywords. Whenever in the question, okay, the question is saying starting from rest. Starting from rest. That means initial velocity is equals to 0. Coming to rest. Coming to rest. That means final velocity is equals to 0. And dropped. Dropped means initial component of initial velocity of vertical component is equals to 0, or initial vertical velocity is equals to 0. Okay, these are the three keywords. Whenever you see in the question these keywords, that means their meaning. If the question says starting from rest, that means u is equals to 0 or initial velocity is equals to 0. If the question is saying coming to rest, that means v is equals to 0 or final velocity is equals to 0. If the question is saying drop, that means initial vertical velocity, okay, or vertical component of initial velocity is equals to 0. Acha, I made a little bit error. There is an acceleration. There is an acceleration in the question. The acceleration is acceleration due to gravity. Acceleration is acting in the gravity. The gravity will not vanish, no, because Earth is our container. Okay, he is not driving away from Earth, no. So option number D. Okay, but the horizontal component of acceleration gets vanished because he was thrown out of the car, and the car had an acceleration of 5 meter per second square. Now, a bus is moving with a speed of 10 meter per second, okay, on a straight road. A scooterist wishes to overtake the bus in 100 seconds. If the bus is at a distance of 1 kilometer from the scooterist, what speed should the scooterist chase the bus? This is a very simple enough question. Here is a bus. Now here is a cycle. I am not very good at drawing, so now this is the velocity of cycle, this is the velocity of bus. Okay, now suddenly I shift the velocity of, now I am seeing it from here. What I try to do is, this was the velocity of cyclist, and I shifted the frame of reference, or I shifted the observer to the bus. Now when I shift the observer, what do? I reverse the velocity of bus and apply it to all other remaining bodies. Okay. Now with this combined velocity of Vc minus Vb, find the time that this cyclist will cover up a distance of 1 kilometer. Okay, so Vb is given as 10 meter per second. So Vc minus Vb is the relative velocity of cyclist with respect to the bus is equals to, okay, the formula that you have to apply. The formula that you have to apply is S is equals to ut plus half at square. Since no acceleration is occurring in both the cases, this is 0. S is given as 1 km or 1000 meter. initial velocity is nothing but Vc minus Vb, or Vc is velocity of cycle, we have to find out. Okay, velocity of bus is 10 meter per second into time. He has to cover the, or he has to overtake the bus in 100 seconds, or Vc can be equals to 20. If you solve this, Vc is equals to 20. Okay, so our correct option is option number A. So in the next year we'll try to learn little bit of relative motion. Okay, river boat, water boat problems. Okay? So now we'll do some simple river boat problem or river water problem. Okay, so make a note. Okay, suppose there is a river, you are sitting in a river bank or in a shore of a river, okay, and you are seeing a boat. First time you are seeing a river. The river is moving with velocity Vr. But sir, how do you know that river is moving with velocity Vr? It might be means I'm just seeing the water going from left to right. How are velocity of river measured? Usually in the question, raft or engineless boat, engineless boat, or any floating object is kept. Okay, the velocity of the floating object as seen by you would be the velocity of river. Okay, now suppose one day you went to the river and that day was very calm, the river was not flowing, or velocity of river is equals to 0. That means if you keep any floating object out here, if you keep any floating object in the river, that velocity of that floating object would be 0. Okay, if you keep any floating object in the river, the velocity of that floating object would be 0. Now what happens is, some mechanic came and he added propeller out here and he added engine. Okay, and he started the propeller. So the boat or the object that is engine powered now started moving with some velocity, let's say Vb or Vb of boat. Okay, so in your examination, this either this case or this case doesn't come, the combination of these two cases comes. Okay, the question is set in such a way that the combination of these two things are given in the question. So how do you measure them? So the first rule is, suppose a boat or engine, a boat with an engine is kept on top of a river with velocity Vr. Okay, and the velocity of boat is Vb. Okay, the distance traveled by the boat would be addition of these two velocity, velocity of boat plus velocity of river into time of journey. Okay, or suppose this was the river, this was the velocity of river. Now instead of traveling to the left hand side, the boat is trying to travel to the right hand side. Okay, the velocity of boat is given like this. Okay, then the displacement or distance traveled by the boat would be given by distance is equals to Vb minus Vr into time of travel. Okay, now similar type of thing or similar type of concept can be applied to conveyor belt also. Conveyor belt means a conveyor belt is moving, okay, or a elevator shaft. Okay, elevator is moving with constant velocity, velocity of elevator, and a person is standing out here. Okay, so when the velocity of elevator was there, the velocity carried the person, But suppose the elevator was still and the person started moving with Vp. That means that represented the velocity of the person. Now if both are moving, the elevator is also moving and the person is also moving. Elevator is usually slanted, but I am showing it horizontal for convenience. Okay, suppose both of them are moving, elevator is also moving and person is also moving. That means out here distance covered would be velocity of person plus velocity of elevator into time. And suppose elevator is moving in this direction, okay, velocity of elevator, and the person is trying to run in the opposite direction, or velocity of person. Out here distance covered will be velocity of person minus velocity of elevator into time of journey. Okay, so to better understand this type of problems, let's do a question. Okay, so let's do the question. Preeti reached the metro station and found the accelerator was not working. She walked up the stationary accelerator in time t1. On other days, if she remains stationary on a moving accelerator, then the accelerator takes her up in time t2. The time taken by her to walk up on the moving accelerator. So there is one assumption that I'll do out here. Okay, accelerator are generally moving states. So if I do some calculation in this direction, we will most probably get confused. So what I am doing out here is I am rotating the accelerator, okay, and assuming it to be a conveyor belt, okay, with velocity in this direction. That much is clear. Okay, now let's see our situation. On first day, Preeti arrived and found the accelerator to be damaged, or the velocity of elevator or accelerator was 0. So Preeti, what she did do was she moved, or velocity of Preeti, indeed on the right direction. So she covered s distance. Let's assume the accelerator is of length s in time t1. Okay, on second day she arrived and found out the accelerator to be working, and the velocity of accelerator was v. So since the accelerator is working, she doesn't need to move, so she stood still and her velocity was 0. So velocity of Preeti on the second day, okay, was equals to 0, and velocity of accelerator on the first day was equals to 0. And on the second day, this is the same distance or the length of accelerator given as s. The time taken or the time she took to reach the opposite end was t2. Now the question says, in one day she was in a hurry and she found out the accelerator to be working. So the accelerator was also working, and she was also running with her usual velocity of Vp. Find the time taken to cover this much, or s distance. Find the time taken to cover the same distance. So time taken would be s is equals to velocity of Preeti plus velocity of escalator into time. Let's say this time as t. Okay, now out here, now see the first day out here, t1 is nothing but distance by time, or t1 is nothing but distance by velocity, or distance is s by velocity is velocity of Preeti. t2 is nothing but distance by velocity, s by velocity of escalator. Okay, so Vp can be replaced by s by t1, or time she took on the first day. Okay, if t1 is equals to s by Vp, so Vp is equals to s by t1. Okay, or Vp is replaced by s by t1. Similarly, VE out here is s by t2. We take the V to the left hand side and bring t2 to the right hand side. So VE is equals to s by t2. So time taken is equals to s by, we take Vp plus Ve to the left hand side, or s by t1 plus s by t2 on the left hand side. So s by t1 plus s by t2. I think this is not visible out here, so let's do it on the left hand side. But let's do a new page. S is equals to, we'll continue this on the next page. S is equals to Vp plus Ve into time taken. Vp is replaced by s by t1 from out here, and Ve, or velocity of escalator, is replaced by s by t2 from out here. Okay, so if we copy these two and paste it on the next page. Paste it on the next page. So we take this entire term Vp plus Ve to the left hand side, or s by t1 plus s by t2 is equals to t, or time taken on the day when both the things were moving, when Pt was also moving with velocity Vp and the escalator was also moving with velocity Ve. So this s and this s get cancelled. You can take s common from the denominator. So time taken is equals to 1 by t1 plus 1 by t2 is equals to t. Or if we simplify this, let's simplify this. 1 by, I'm doing it little bit quicker, okay? t1 plus t2 by t1 t2, and this t1 t2 will go up. Okay, so I'm writing it all together at once. Okay, so t1 t2 by t1 plus t2 is equals to t, or time taken by Pt to reach the opposite end of the accelerator when both of them were moving with their respective velocities. So our correct option is option number C. Okay, correct option is option number C. Now let's look at the next question. A train of 150 meter length is going towards north at a speed of 10 meter per second. A parrot flies at the speed of 5 meter per second towards south direction, parallel to the railway track. The time taken by the parrot to cross the train is, that means there is a train. I'm looking from the sky. Okay, I'm looking from the sky down below to the train. A train of 150 meter length, is moving with velocity 10 meter per second, and a parrot, okay, this is a very bad parrot, let's draw some good parrot. Okay, so a parrot was moving towards the train or south with 5 meter per second. Now what happens when we shift our observer from the sky to the train? That means as soon as we shift our observer to the train, okay, the velocity of bird becomes 5 plus, okay, if we reverse the velocity of 10, if we reverse this velocity of 10, so it will be in this direction and magnitude of 10. So our total velocity of the bird relative to the train becomes 10 plus 5, or 5 plus 10 is equals to 50. I am erasing this part. Okay. So velocity of bird with respect to train, or as an observer from the train, is 15 meter per second, and he has to cross this 150 meter. Okay, so velocity is 15 meter per second and distance is 150 meter. So you can easily apply S is equals to ut, and since there is no acceleration, no half at square is required. or S is equals to 150 meter. Okay, to cross the train he has to travel 150 meter. To cross the train the bird has to travel 150 meters, but he has to start the journey from here and end it out here. Okay, u is nothing but the relative velocity of bird with respect to train, and time is you have to find out. So from out here the time taken comes out to be as 10 seconds, or our correct option is option number D. Now let's do the next question. A person standing on the floor of an elevator drops a coin. The coin reaches the first floor in time t1. If the elevator is at rest in time t2, if the elevator is moving uniformly, if the elevator is at rest and in time t2, if the elevator is moving uniformly, which of the following option is correct? T1 is lesser than T2 or T21 is greater than T2. That means let's understand the question. In first question the elevator was stationary, so the velocity of elevator was 0. In second case the velocity of elevator was not 0, or elevator was moving with some velocity. Now a person out here, okay, was a jackass and he was dropping a coin. Okay, I don't know why, but apparently he was dropping a coin. Now the question is saying us find the difference in time taken by the coin to reach this much distance versus to reach this much distance. Okay, so make a note that this is a little bit theoretical in nature. As long as the lift doesn't accelerate, every condition inside the lift will remain same as outside the lift, or it will remain same irrespective of velocity of the lift. Okay, as long as the lift has no acceleration, every condition inside the lift will remain same irrespective of the amount of velocity, or irrespective of velocity. So why is the condition like this? This we will understand in Newton's law of motion. There is a concept called pseudo force. So I will make you understand from that chapter. But for now, just remember, as long as the lift has no acceleration, that means acceleration of both the left and the right condition is 0. Every condition inside the lift will remain same. Okay, irrespective of the velocity. That means T1 is equals to T2, or time taken to drop the coin in first case would be time taken to drop the coin in second case. Yeah. Now let's do our next topic. This one is a little tricky, so pay attention. This one is river swimmer problem. River swimmer problem. Now this river swimmer problem has two types of cases. Type 1 rarely comes, okay, but still we'll do it. Shortest time. So what is this shortest time? We'll understand it right now. Okay. Suppose there is a river, and a swimmer is out here. He's trying to swim, so he wants to cross the river. So what he does is he applies all his effort in a straight line, okay, and he crosses the river. But the river also has some velocity. So while crossing the river, the displacement due to his velocity would be displacement of swimmer he'll displace something like this, but the river will also carry him towards the right because velocity of river is towards the right. Therefore, the resultant displacement as seen by someone sitting in the bank, okay, will be addition of displacement of the swimmer plus displacement of the river. Okay, will be this one, or this line will be this line, and this line is given as displacement of swimmer vector plus vector displacement of river. Okay, don't add them like scalar magnitude. So a person sitting on the bank, okay, person sitting on the bank will see this swimmer move in this direction. That means effective velocity of someone sitting in the bank and seeing the swimmer will see them moving this direction. So, and the swimmer is trying his best to reach the opposite bank. So with respect to swimmer, his velocity will be looking straight to the opposite side. Okay, so we can represent this as velocity vector of swimmer, this as velocity vector of river, and the addition of both as velocity vector of swimmer plus velocity vector of river. Okay, on the direction in which the swimmer approaches the opposite end. Okay, if you apply some common concept, if he tries to swim straight, he'll reach somewhere out here, not at the exact opposite end. Okay, because while he is reaching the exact opposite end, the river will carry him somewhat towards right. Okay, so that becomes the total velocity or net velocity of the swimmer as observed by an observer out here. Okay, so type of questions that comes from here is time taken or time taken by the swimmer. Time taken by the swimmer. Time taken is nothing but displacement by velocity. Okay, now we can either take this displacement or this displacement or this displacement. So all threes are same. So x is or displacement of swimmer, which is equals to the width of the river. This xs or displacement of swimmer is nothing but the width of the river. Okay, by velocity or velocity of swimmer is equals to xr or displacement by river by velocity of river, or we can take also this displacement xs plus xr, xs plus xr by vs plus vr, vs plus vr. Note that these are vector addition, not scalar addition. If one is given as 10 and another is 2, don't add them. Okay, remember these are vector addition, vector addition. Okay, xs is nothing but width of the river or river width, river width by velocity of swimmer. Okay, so these four are equal. So whatever is given in the question, we'll find out these four equations by using these four equations. Now let's take the type 2 case or second type of case in which the problem comes. This type of thing is repeatedly asked in your NEET examination. Type 2 or shortest path. Shortest path. That means this is the river and the observer, sorry, the swimmer has to reach the exact opposite end. The swimmer has to reach the exact opposite end. So if he tries to swim straight, he'll reach somewhere around here. He'll reach somewhere around here. So in order to reach the exact opposite end, he has to make his movement in this direction. So he'll try to make his movement in this direction, or displacement of the swimmer. And now the river will carry him to the right with the velocity of river. So the total displacement of swimmer is the total displacement of the swimmer as observed by a person sitting in the bank is somewhat like this, or a straight line. Remember, this straight line out here is the resultant of xs plus xr, or displacement of swimmer plus displacement done due to river. Okay. Now so we can easily say that the swimmer, velocity of swimmer is somewhat towards the left, the velocity of river is somewhat towards the right, and the effective velocity as seen by someone sitting in the bank is straight, or Vs plus Vr, vector summation of swimmer's velocity plus vector summation of river velocity, okay, as seen by someone sitting in the bank. Okay. Now time taken is equals to total displacement. Total displacement is xs vector plus xr vector, which is also equals to width of the river by Vs plus Vr, or total velocity Vr. Always remember, these are vector additions, okay, don't add them scalar. I'm repeatedly saying these are vector additions, okay. Vs plus Vr, okay. This is nothing but width of the river, xs plus xr. These two terms, xs plus xr, is nothing but width of the river, width of the river, okay. So this can be taken by, or the time taken can be also given by xr, or this much distance by velocity of river, xr by Vr, or can be given by xr by Vs cos theta. Now what is this xr by Vs cos theta? Vs cos theta. Now what is this term? This term is new, okay. Now just imagine, okay? The effective velocity of the swimmer as seen by observer on the bank is Vs plus Vr is equals to a straight line, okay. Vs vector, or velocity of swimming vector, plus velocity of river. Swimmer is trying to travel a little bit left, or velocity of swimmer. Okay. Now this left velocity of the swimmer is due to cancelling out the effort of swimmer on the left hand side, is to cancel out the effect of velocity of river, okay. So can I say, if this is angle theta, can I say Vs sin theta, or the component of Vs in this direction is equals to velocity of river? Because in order to reach the opposite end, or in order to effectively reach the in a straight line, he must exactly cancel out the velocity of the river. So Vs sin theta, or component of velocity in horizontal direction, is equals to Vr. So Vs sin theta is equals to Vr, okay. This is the same thing I wrote in previous slide, okay. Xr by Vr, so Xr stays the same, Vr gets converted to Vs cos theta, sorry, not cos theta, this is sin theta, this is sin theta, okay. So in the previous example, time taken was xr, or displacement of river by velocity of river, or velocity of river can be also given by velocity of swimmer in horizontal component, or Vs sine theta. One more thing to observe out here is I am only talking about the magnitude, okay, not the sign. The velocity of river will be towards right, and the component of horizontal velocity of the swimmer would be towards left, because he wants to cancel the effect of velocity of river. Okay. Now make a note. Now let's do a question. A speed of a swimmer in still water is 20 meter per second. The speed of the river is 10 meter per second and is flowing due east. If he is standing on south bank and wishes to cross the river along the shortest path, the angle at which he should make his strokes with respect to north is given by. That means there is a river. There is a river. Okay, and he wants to effectively cross in a straight line. Okay, so displacement of swimmer plus displacement of river should be a straight line. So swimmer should move towards the left, so he could cancel out the effect of river. So this is the displacement of swimmer. Therefore this is the displacement of river. Okay, now this can also be written as velocity diagram. Okay, so on the left we have displacement of swimmer, velocity of swimmer, and this is velocity of river, and this is a combined velocity of swimmer plus velocity of river. Now the question is asking, find this angle theta that he makes with the north so that he continues to travel in a straight line. Okay, now in this triangle, see the second diagram, see this diagram. In this diagram, okay, this angle is given as theta. This is right angle triangle because this is a straight line, this is a straight line, and velocity is moving, velocity of river is horizontal. So velocity of river is given as 10, velocity of river water is 10, and velocity of swimmer is given as 20. Now from this triangle I can easily say that sine theta is equals to 10 by 20 or is equals to 1 by 2. Sine of what is 1 by 2? Sine of 30 is 1 by 2. So the correct answer is option number D. Okay. And let's do a next one. A person swims in a river aiming to reach exact opposite point on the bank of a river. His speed of the swim is 0.5 meter per second at an angle of 120 degree with the direction of flow of water. The speed of the water in stream is. That means a swimmer, okay, he is planning to travel in a straight line, or he is planning to aiming to reach exactly the opposite point. That means if he starts from here and plans to reach out here, that means he must travel in a straight line. So his effective velocity or velocity of swimmer plus velocity of river would be a straight line. So he must make an angle against the river current to effectively reach in a straight line. So this is the velocity of swimmer and this is the velocity of river. Now if this angle is theta, the horizontal from this triangle, let's see what is given. his speed of swimming is 0.5 meter or 0.5 meter at an angle 120 degree with the direction of flow of water. That means this swimmer is making an angle of 120 degree with the direction of flow of water. That means this was the direction of flow of water and the swimmer is making 120 degrees. Okay, so if this is 120 degree, and this is a perpendicular bisector, that means this is 90 degrees, that means that angle inside the triangle would be 120 minus 90, that would be equals to 30 degrees. Okay, so the component of velocity, the horizontal component of swimmer's velocity should be exactly equals to the velocity of river in the opposite direction, so that he cancels out the velocity of the river. Okay, so 0.5 sine 30. Okay, velocity of swimmer in the left hand direction is equals to velocity of river, okay, in the right hand direction. So velocity of river is 0.5 into sine 30 is 1 by 2, or is equals to velocity of river, or velocity of river is 1 by 4, which can also be written as 0.25. Okay, our correct answer is option number C. Okay. Now, next question. The speed of a boat is 5 km per hour in still water. It crosses a river of width 1 km along the shortest possible path. See, all your questions are given in shortest path. Okay, very few, none of the questions given in shortest time. Okay, so the speed of a boat is 5 km per hour in still water. It crosses a river of width 1 km along the shortest possible path in 15 minutes. The velocity of the river in kilometer per hour. Okay, so this is the only unit that is bothering me. 15 minutes. So I am writing 15 minutes as 15 by 60 hour, because 60 minutes is equals to 1 hour and is equals to 1 by 4 hour. Okay, so now let's see the problem. The speed of boat in still water is 5 km per hour. Okay, the speed of boat in still water is 5 km per hour. So the boat must, okay, still water means the power of the boat or the power of the swimmer. Okay, the speed of boat in still water, okay, velocity of boat in still water is 5 km per hour. Now one day this boat decided to not travel in this direction and tried to cross the river. So the effort of boat should be in this direction to cancel out the effort of, or to cancel out the velocity of river. Okay, so velocity of boat is in this direction, velocity of river is in this direction, because he wants to travel in shortest possible path, or velocity of boat plus velocity of river. Okay, now this much distance is given as 1 kilometer. So time taken is given by the formula distance or displacement by velocity, or time taken, displacement is nothing but 1 kilometer, or let's not convert them into meter, let's take 1 kilometer by velocity. Velocity is VB plus VR. Okay, by VB plus VR. Now time taken out here, T out here is given by 1 by 4 hour. That means I can replace this T by 1 by 4, or I can simply say VB plus VR is equals to 4. Okay, so now VB is equals to VB plus VR is equals to 4, and we know that VB is equals to 5. So VB minus VR, or VR is equals to 4 minus 5 is equals to minus 1, and that would be extremely wrong. Okay, remember, these are vector addition and subtraction. These are vector addition and subtraction. That means velocity vector of boat plus velocity vector of river is equals to 4, or 4 in straight direction. Okay, so velocity vector of boat in the left hand side is given by VB, or is given by 5 km per hour, is given by 5 km per hour. Velocity of river, you have to find it out, and velocity of combined of them is 4. Okay, now from Pythagoras theorem we can easily say that VR square, let me write on the left hand side. From Pythagoras theorem you can easily say that VR square plus 5 square, sorry, VR square plus 4 square plus 4 square is equals to 5 square, or VR square is equals to 5 square minus 4 square, or that is equals to 25 minus 16, or is equals to 25 minus 16 is nothing but 9, or VR is equals to 3, root over 9, which is equals to 3. So our correct option is option number 3. Okay. So with that we end our motion in a plane, or motion in 2D. So this comes to the end of our kinematics. From the next class we will start about laws of motion. Okay, after laws of motion we'll do work energy theorem. Okay, after that we'll double down on our curriculum, because I'll take on class 12 also, I'll take on class 11 also. We'll run parallelly. Okay, because the first chapter that we start in class 12 is electrostatics, and in electrostatics some portion of force, some portion of energy is required. So that's why I'm keeping it light in the first few days. Okay.